pouting about not getting picked by Taylor Swift, taking on the Terminator, and telling George Clooney to go back to TV. Donald Trump has gotten into word wars with countless celebrities, but there are those that seem to annoy him more than others. Taylor Swift, one of the biggest names in entertainment, famously stays out of politics for the most part, but she stepped up to declare support for Kamala Harris. Swift explained that her drive to publicly support Harris first arose when she saw Donald Trump post AI-generated images of Swift on his Truth Social page, artificially celebrating her support. She offered words of encouragement to Harris, earning the wrath of Trump and his supporters. Trump's initial response to Swift's endorsement was relatively restrained. On Fox and Friends, he played off Swift's words by comparing her to various other women. Trump voiced his preference for Kansas City Chiefs QB Patrick Mahomes' wife, Brittany, and Britney Spears.
I actually like Mrs. Mahomes much better, if you want to know the truth. She's a big Trump fan.
He suggested that Taylor's liberal views would affect her music sales before taking the gloves off in a later online statement. Refusing to mince words, Trump took to Truth Social again to very presidentially state, "I hate Taylor Swift," in all caps with an exclamation point. Trump's uncomplicated vitriol against Swift led the Harris campaign to release a statement taunting him with the names of various Taylor Swift songs. Robert De Niro throws jabs at Trump practically every time he gets his hands on a microphone.
He's so stupid.
Whether he's at a film festival or a campaign event, De Niro hates Trump's guts and can't wait to talk about it. In May 2024, De Niro spoke in favor of Joe Biden while standing outside a New York courthouse, where Trump was being tried for falsifying business records. Trump took exception to De Niro's consistent attacks, issuing retaliations via his Truth Social account. Trump issued posts in which he called De Niro a wacko former actor, and he also claimed that De Niro represents the far left, and that his political affiliation negatively impacted his work as an actor, and even the artistic value of his films. For some unknown reason, Trump concluded the post with a reference to a Simon and Garfunkel song prominently featured in the Dustin Hoffman classic, The Graduate. Until October 2024, Rihanna spent around 3 years as the most financially successful musical artist of all time, largely thanks to her beauty brand, as well as being the face of several other brands. All that power and advertising savvy grants the 36-year-old artist a tremendous amount of influence, which is part of what irked Trump so much when she joined the long list of musicians demanding he keep their songs away from his rallies. Rihanna's music publisher won a 2018 legal battle to exclude Trump from the artist's list of acceptable political entities, which kicked off a long battle that is very much still in motion. Rihanna spray-painted a hateful message toward Trump in 2020, prompting some Republicans to insist she shouldn't be allowed to play the upcoming Super Bowl halftime show. Trump posted on Truth Social stating, "Without her stylist, she'd be nothing. Bad everything, and no talent." When that halftime show finally came, Trump blasted her again, characterizing the performance as the worst in the game's history, while also dissing her stylist. Arnold Schwarzenegger will always be a larger-than-life icon for his roles in classics like The Terminator and Total Recall, but Californians might know him best as their GOP governor from 2003 to 2011. Despite his party affiliation, Schwarzenegger's relationship with Trump soured over the years. The actor famously replaced Trump on The Apprentice in 2015, shortly before he refused to support Trump's run for office. He issued statements against Trump that called for his fellow Republicans to choose their nation over their party, which evolved into a constant critique of Trump's controversial policies, earning Trump's ire. Trump initially limited himself to attacking Schwarzenegger's performance on the new Celebrity Apprentice and the resulting ratings. He took time out of a prayer breakfast to give the show's creator some sass about replacing him with a movie star, then offered a prayer to Schwarzenegger for his ailing TV audience. Shortly thereafter, Trump took to Twitter to add additional insults to his reality show replacement, tweeting negatively about Schwarzenegger's performance on the show as well as his time as governor. Schwarzenegger went on to support the Harris campaign in 2024 and continued to maintain his distaste for Trump.
Every time you talk about America, you're right when you say that our leadership in Washington is a little bit backwards.
Longtime movie star George Clooney has never shied away from politics. Clooney was a vocal supporter and a close personal friend of former President Barack Obama, keeping the actor firmly on the left side of the political divide. Clooney's fundraising efforts for Obama earned him some general pull in the Democratic Party, which he used to ask Joe Biden to step down from the 2024 race. In July 2024, Clooney wrote an op-ed for the New York Times practically begging Biden to throw in the towel. He was as kind as he could be as he asked Biden to quit, but that call for a new candidate enraged Trump, who took to Truth Social to accuse Clooney of stabbing Biden in the back. Trump encouraged Clooney to, quote, "get out of politics and go back to television," and bizarrely claimed that movies didn't work for the actor. Oddly enough, Trump alternated between attacking Clooney and Biden. the man Clooney just encouraged to leave the race. Alec Baldwin immediately rocketed to the top of Trump's Hollywood hit list when he started his long-running role impersonating the president on Saturday Night Live.
What is even a Putin?
I'm running to store. You need anything?
I'm good, thanks, sweetie.
There was no bigger critic of Baldwin's impression than Trump himself, who regularly attacked the show, the network, and the performers as unfair political operatives. In 2021, Trump launched his most vicious attack against Baldwin while the actor was facing the consequences of an on-set shooting that killed a director of photography. Trump capitalized on that nightmarish situation while speaking on Chris Stegel's podcast, characterizing Baldwin as an unhinged individual and distinctly implying that the actor had something to do with the shooting. He even went so far as to suggest that Baldwin loaded the prop gun. Many interpreted the statements as Trump's long-awaited revenge for the SNL impression. Meryl Streep is known for acting at the highest levels and has a truckload of awards to prove it. Even beyond film awards, Streep received the National Medal of Arts and the Presidential Medal of Freedom from then-President Barack Obama. However, her relationship with the next president was far less cordial. In 2015, as she was taking home yet another shiny statue, this time the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Golden Globes, Streep made comments about Trump's performance on the campaign trail. Though she didn't mention his name, she critiqued his alleged impression of journalist Serge Kowalewski and pushed back against the powerful acting as bullies. Trump tweeted his response calling Streep, quote, one of the most overrated actresses in Hollywood. He accused her of unfairly attacking him without knowing him and characterized her as, quote, a Hillary flunky who lost big, despite her delivering her comments as part of an acceptance speech. Sacha Baron Cohen has a decent reputation as an actor and a legendary reputation as an on-camera prankster. As Ali G, and later as Borat, Bruno, and several other familiar fixtures, Cohen would conduct interviews in various settings with people who don't realize they're being messed with. In 2003, Ali G roped Donald Trump into one of his comedic scenes, pitching him a fake product to see how he'd react on camera. He walked out during the filming, cutting the routine short, and later reportedly talked to the New York Times journalist Maureen Dowd, used a slur to describe Cohen, and stated, quote, it was a total con job. Trump would later attack Cohen for another prank. As part of Cohen's second Borat film, the film crew captured Trump ally Rudy Giuliani in a compromising position during an interview with a young lady.
She's 15. She's too old for you.
Why are you dressed like
She's my daughter. Please, take me instead.
Voice of America White House Bureau Chief Steve Herman tweeted out Trump's response to the public release of the footage. Trump called him a, quote, phony guy, stated that he wasn't funny, and accused him of being a, quote, creep. Marshawn Beast Mode Lynch is one of the most iconic football players of all time. Lynch temporarily retired in 2016, but he returned for several years after one season off, all while dealing with off-the-field legal issues. In 2017, he sat during the national anthem as part of a widespread protest against racism and police brutality, which saw many athletes kneeling as the anthem was played. It so happened that those protesting athletes were among Trump's favorite targets at the time. In a heated early morning tweet, Trump called Lynch out for standing for the Mexican anthem while kneeling for the American tune, considering his actions, quote, great disrespect. Trump suggested that protest actions like his were negatively affecting the NFL's ratings, and that the league should suspend him for the remainder of the season. Mark Cuban is certainly one of the richest men to have beef with Donald Trump. The Shark Tank star made $5.7 billion from the 1997 sale of Broadcast.com to Yahoo during the dot-com bubble, and as of late 2024, holds an estimated net worth of around the same amount. Cuban's history with Trump is a mixed bag. He initially shared barbs with the mogul in 2004, when they both starred on reality shows. When Trump began his run for office in 2015, Cuban supported him, but he later jumped ship in favor of the Clinton campaign in 2016. During his time in office, Trump regularly attacked Cuban, labeling him a failure and suggesting he couldn't mount a similar campaign. By 2024, Cuban was on the campaign trail for Kamala Harris, leading Trump to launch constant social media attacks. In a post on Truth Social, Trump suggested that Cuban's support for the Democratic candidate originated from Trump's unwillingness to take his calls. Arianna Huffington is known as a liberal darling, but her political alignment has shifted over the years. She started her journalism career writing for the National Review, one of the more conservative voices in the medium. In 1996, she covered the election for Comedy Central, providing a right-wing voice to rival Al Franken. Huffington ran for governor of California as an independent in 2003, but after she lost, she co-founded the Huffington Post with Andrew Breitbart. and others to compete with a Drudge Report. Despite Huffington's conservative bona fides, Trump consistently attacked her for her liberal views. Trump hurled extremely personal attacks at Huffington as far back as 2012. He took to Twitter to state that Huffington was, quote, unattractive both inside and out, and to celebrate her former husband, openly bisexual conservative politician Michael Huffington, for divorcing her many years earlier. He followed those insults with another tweet, claiming that those who accused him of cruelty would agree with him if they knew Huffington. That post came with a threat, promising more hate to come. Trump would go on to regularly attack Huffington and her outlet, accusing it of illegitimacy and bias. Angela Merkel was one of the longest-serving chancellors of Germany, leading the nation from 2005 to 2021. She was the first woman to be elected chancellor, breaking new ground before her term even began, and saw 4 American presidents come and go during her time in office. In 2020, CNN uncovered several classified phone calls between Trump and world leaders. He allegedly insulted Merkel's intelligence during a call, a bout of verbal abuse that reportedly fits into a trend of several other attacks on allied leaders. German officials stated that Trump accused Merkel of being somehow owned by Russian interests in one of several vicious diatribes. They even claimed that Merkel deliberately reduced the number of advisors around to hear her phone conversations with Trump, hiding their, quote, problematic contents. In more specific critiques, Trump attacked Merkel's immigration policies in a German newspaper, claiming to have respect for her while calling out her, quote, catastrophic mistake.